Okay, now I talked about being ready and getting ready, and I was talking about how in the book, again, remember the book? I have the link in the description. So welcome back, welcome back. We were talking about chapter 2, which was this friendship page, and I was talking about how I met Michael, right? And what happened based on what is greater when you're getting ready. Is it easier to be introduced, or is it easier to go out and date and meet someone? And so in the friendship book, Michael, you'll when you go through that chapter, you'll understand how it was so easy for us to talk. And I say that because we didn't go right into dating. So, and that was because he told me he was involved with someone, okay? And because he told me he was involved with someone, I knew that the level of the relationship possibly would just be my having fun, or possibly could be used, or it just be about possibly sex, or he could want to be with me. So I took my time. So I actually dated him by phone, and we didn't see each other. I guess I would say 6 months, and I'm glad I did that. So let's talk about distant relationships, because that was relationships that I really don't like. Distant relationships are not easy, and one of the other person is going to get an attitude or feel some kind of way that you're not giving them a lot of time. So although Michael and I talked on the phone, it felt like a distant relationship because I was waiting. It's almost like waiting for the move, or a better time, or a better opportunity to get to know each other. But the distant was because not only was he in a relationship with someone else, but he also was a part of a sport that started a couple of months after we met, okay? So that in itself caused the lack of opportunity to be with me, okay? But we talked. And it is so important about relationship. And I know you get this all the time. Communication. Communication, we know, is the number one key to any successful friendship or relationship. You have to be non-selfish to have great and successful relationship. It can't just be about you. It can't be about when it's your time, or when I got the time and this is what's going on in my life. You know, everybody is busy. Everybody's got something going on. But the communication and conversation matters with a person that you want to have a great friendship with. And I'm saying great friendship with because that is the key. And that was what is in the chapter of the book, that when you read it, you'll understand why it was that way. And it was the greatest relationship to have. And I didn't realize that at the time. You got to remember, I was in my 20s. I'm learning to love. I hadn't ever been in love with anyone at that time. I loved someone, but I wasn't in love with someone at that time. But this was, I believe, the motion I was going through, learning about loving someone, learning to give someone a part of your soul, your emotions, and time. But the distant was hard, because when you go through conversation with someone, right? You're enjoying the conversation. You're enjoying getting to know them. You're enjoying who they are, what they're about. But that distant time because you can't see them, you can't touch them, you can't hold them, you can't kiss them. And it's hard to be with somebody that you can't hold a hug, right? So it's the emptiness comes in, even though you have the excitement of the voice and the conversation. And you know that one day soon you'll see that person. And you hold on to the weight. You hold on to the weight. I'm trying to find the word. What's that word? Oh my gosh. You're waiting on, waiting on that time to come. I got to think of the word. Y'all got to help me out with the word. Y'all send me a comment. Put it in below. Tell me what I was trying to say. I'm not going to try to use those big vocabulary words, but you know where I'm going. I'm trying to say, sometimes just talking to somebody on the phone is a greater love than being with them all the time. Why, love doctor? Why do you say that? Well, because what happens is you are talking more about emotions and feelings and desires and wants. Things that you may not talk about when you're around them all the time. You got me? Because when you're around somebody that you see all the time, a lot of times you're distracted, right? Because you're doing this and you're doing that, you're going here, you're going there, you're watching a movie, you're going skating, or you in the park. You got, it's a lot going on. So you don't get that one-on-one conversation. See, y'all don't ever really think about that. That one-on-one conversation matters because when you meet someone and they are where you are and not far from where you are, yes, the connection is grander because you get to spend time. But the connection of emotion and feelings is greater when there's distance. Because that's the word. You long. Hold on. When the doctor speaks, she gonna find it. You long to come together. That's the word. You're so excited that you can't wait till you get together. And so doing that, you're able to talk about things that you never would talk about if you saw each other all the time. And I say that, and that's what happened with my relationship with Michael. And I'm telling this story, and I know a lot of people, questioning me. I don't care. Your naysayers who's saying, why are you talking about this? It was X amount of years ago. It doesn't matter if it was 50 years ago or 100 years ago. You have books in the library that are 100 years ago and you still reading it. So why I can't tell my story? Why I can't tell you what is the truth of a relationship that existed? He's alive. He's not deceased. He's alive. And it's his choice to make himself believe or want someone else to believe is untrue. People choose to put whatever they have going on or any discretion they may think existed in their life because of their lie, and they stay behind their lie, has nothing to do with you. You have to continue to be the person that you are, which is greater than that person. You see? So I have no reason to not tell the story. I'm telling the story because he lied. You understand? If that's something that you don't get, okay, you don't have to watch me and get education not just from my story, but just about connecting with people and relationships. I'm not just this woman that dated him at one time. I'm an educated, knowledgeable woman of relationship and love. I'm a loveologist. I have a master's degree. So I'm not just talking to you just to tell my story. I'm talking to you to tell the story, but it you to understand why we experience what we experience and why we go through what we go through. And why does it happen? And why didn't someone just give me just a little bit of something to help me be better, see better, make better decisions. Just give me a little something. Because something someone may say may give you a moment of a decision that will help your life. That's who I am. I'm a person that is going to help you understand your feelings, your desires, your likes, your lack, your want, your love, your happiness. Because relationships are about all of that. So talking to having conversation matters. Technology today has taken that away because you're so quick to text and it doesn't give you true feelings. I'll give you an example. I text someone a text and they took the text as though I was, and this is the kicker in the text. How is it that my text told you how I was feeling? It's like, I'm lost. Because when we text, we do what? Miss words. When we text, we don't really say a full thought of what we're trying to say. Am I correct? Tell me now, tell me in a comment if I'm wrong. You don't say what you really want to say in a text. Why? Because it take up too much doggone time for me to sit there and text you some shit I can pick up the phone and we can have a conversation about. Come on now. Your communication with the person you're getting to know is better if you pick up the phone. This technology is taking you away from finding someone that you can truly enjoy and have conversation with. If you learn to talk more on the phone, I promise you your relationships will be greater. You could clear up the misconception, the misunderstanding through through the texts that we do in our phone. So I just wanted to quickly talk about distant relationships and talk about how distant relationships are not easy. And if you choose to be in a distant relationship, do understand the possibility of where it could go and may not go. Because you're not close enough to give somebody emotional feelings. You can give them emotional heart and sound, but not the touch, the emotional touch. So my opinion about what I experienced with Michael, to me, I'm glad we did. I'm glad he was able to see me different than her. You understand? Because the person he was dating at the time was someone he was seeing, and I was the person he wasn't. So his emotions were higher for me because what? He was longing to what? See me. And out of respect for where he was in, we chose to wait. You see? So there's a difference sometimes in those type of distant relationships. When you make a decision to get in a distant relationship, someone's got to decide what you're going to do. How are we going to come together? Are we going to come together in your side of the world or my side of the world? But do understand, someone has to make a change when it comes to distant relationship. Now, if you decide to go, because it's going to be a roller coaster. And I'm saying that because I've been in one. And even though the person say, I understand, the complaints will come because you're not doing it enough. You're not coming to see them enough. Or they're giving up more of their time to see you. And that's where the relationships of distance have an issue. Now, if you're in the same city, the distant relationship I had with Michael was he was making a decision about his relationship that he presently had and the relationship he wanted to have, okay? And therefore caused us to have a distance to where he was and where I was. But I tell you one thing, it was a greater connection. It was a greater connection. emotionally. Okay. So I hope that talk right there helped you understand about distant relationships. We're going to talk more about it. Why, what's my opinion on distant relationships. Again, we'll go more into that and really talk more about distant relationships. But I hope that this talk right here helped you. Because I told you I was going to go back and forth. Right now we're in the book. And I'll do a talk with a separate talk. But again, if you want to go ahead and look at some of my other videos and see what I was talking about, do so. Otherwise, I will be back giving you more videos here with the Dr. Pamela Y. Smith. Thank you for watching. We'll be back. I'll be back. See you soon.